We've been sold a lie about what it means to be clean. In the modern world, we've traded the high-functioning complexity of nature for the sterile death of a blue box. We spend $100,000 plus to dig a concrete hole, terrified it might turn into a swamp, without realizing that a swamp is actually nature's most elite filtration system. We've been taught to fear life and trust chemicals. We worry about what we eat and the air we breathe, but we ignore the gallons of industrial toxins we absorb through dermal osmosis. Endocrine disruptors, skin irritants, and respiratory stressors. We've been told this is the price of luxury. I'm here to tell you that's a biohazard masquerading as a status symbol. Real luxury isn't a sterilized environment. Real luxury is an equilibrium. In the forgotten archive, we don't sterilize water, we manage life. We move from a mindset of destruction to a mindset of cultivation. By the end of this masterclass, you will understand how to manufacture a sanctuary that cleans itself, protects your health, and costs nothing. Traditional building, even natural building, like cob or rammed earth, is an extractive process. To get enough quality clay, you have to dig, sift, and haul tons of dead weight. When you spend weeks digging a hole just to find building material, you're essentially mining your own land and exhausting your body before the first wall even goes up. Manufacturing above the surface is a shift from mining to harvesting. Instead of fighting the earth to extract clay, we utilize the biology happening right on top of it. By using biopolymers and natural fibers, we are tapping into materials that manufacture themselves. Speed. Harvesting biomass and processing biorubbers is a fraction of the work required to excavate and refine tons of raw earth. Efficiency. We replace high-mass, low-strength mud with high-tensile fibers and flexible binders. Sustainability. A hole in the ground is a permanent scar. A harvested field of fiber regrows by next season. The bottom line? Don't break your back digging for the past. Grow your infrastructure in the sun. To manufacture above the surface, we don't need a factory. We need a flat-cast bed. This is a leveled, horizontal frame, ideally raised to waist height to save your back, surfaced with a non-stick interface like recycled HDPE or waxed plywood. This bed is where your liquid matrix transforms into a structural panel. By casting horizontally, we use gravity to ensure uniform thickness and density, creating a standardized liner panel that is far easier to quality control than a vertical mud wall. A liner is only as good as its skeleton. We use a crosshatch matrix of agave fibers. The base layer. Spread a thin veil of bio-rubber liquid. The fiber layup. Lay long-strand agave fibers in a 0°, 90° grid. Agave fibers possess incredible industrial tensile strength, nature's version of fiberglass. The consolidation. Roll the fibers into the liquid to eliminate air pockets. This composite structure ensures the panel won't tear under pressure or shift during temperature swings. The polymerization, the leathery skin. We combine fermented agave juice acts as the primary acidic catalyst and resin base. Hydrated lime, a POG, provides high alkaline durability and antimicrobial properties. Cassava starch functions as the thermal plasticizer, giving the mix its give. When these three meet, they undergo a polymerization process that results in a waterproof, flexible, and leathery membrane. The graphene edge. Molecular protection. To make this liner immortal against the tropical sun, we add rice husk-derived graphene. By carbonizing rice husks and refining the biochar, we introduce a molecular additive that blocks UV, prevents the sun from breaking down the organic polymers, fills micropores, creates a 100% leak-proof seal at the nano level, and heat dissipation helps the panels shed heat rather than absorbing it. Chapter 4. Engineering the Organic Deep End. By grading the land to a 0-degree slope, we create a naturalistic aesthetic that mimics a shoreline. Thermal buffer. The shallow beach zone acts as a solar collector, pre-warming the water as it circulates toward the deeper zones. The 8-foot drop, the deep water zone. Transitioning from the beach to the 8-foot drop requires a shift in engineering mindset. The deep end isn't just for diving, it is your thermal battery. Thermal stability. At 8 feet, the water temperature remains remarkably stable, staying cool during the peak tropical heat and holding warmth through the night. Pressure management. In this zone, the hydrostatic pressure is at its peak. We reinforce the organic deep end by doubling the agave matrix layers in the prefab panels used for the floor and lower walls. Safety clearance. We designed the transition slope, the break, to ensure a safe diving envelope, maintaining a minimum radius that prevents accidental contact with the rising floor. The chemical weld, creating the monolithic vessel. The most critical phase of construction is the chemical weld. Instead of using mechanical fasteners or tapes, which eventually fail, we use the same liquid biopolymer used to create the panels to weld them together. First, the overlap. Prefab panels are laid with a 6-inch overlap. Then the reactivation. A high-concentration mix of fermented agave and hydrated lime is applied to the seam. This slightly melts the surface of the cured panels. Then the fusion. As the seam cures, the molecular chains of the two panels interlock, turning individual sheets into one monolithic organic-shaped vessel.
In a conventional pool, a concrete wall is a barrier meant to keep things out. But in a living system, the wall, our submerged weir, is a bridge. It is the heart of our passive filtration. The secret isn't in the height of the wall, but in the gap we leave above it. To keep the water crystal clear, the top of this separation wall must sit exactly 2 to 4 inches below the static water surface. We call this the hydraulic gap. Why the precision? If the wall is too high, the surface tension breaks and debris just floats against the barrier, rotting in the swimming area. If it's too low, the water moves too slowly to carry anything with it. At 2 to 4 inches, we create a sheet flow. This specific depth exploits the Bernoulli principle on a micro scale. As water is drawn toward the regeneration zone, the surface layer accelerates slightly as it passes over the weir. This creates a gentle, relentless pull that acts as your primary cleaner. This is our passive skimmer. We are engineering surface tension to do the work of a $300 mechanical pump. Most contaminants, body oils, dust, and pollen, are hydrophobic or lighter than water. They live on the surface. By maintaining that hydraulic gap, the surface tension acts like a skin. When the water in the regeneration zone is cooled by plants or moves through our gravel beds, it creates a density difference. The dirty surface water is pulled over the weir and into the root systems of our plants. Here, the oils are broken down by microbes, and the dust is trapped in the gravel. No moving parts, no electricity, just the physics of the weir, separating the swimmers from the swamp. In a natural system, we don't fight algae with chemicals. We fight it with competition. We build a botanical filtration matrix, a 3-layered defense system where each plant has a specific job in the chemistry of the water. At the foundation, we have the oxygenators. Species like hydrilla or hornwort live entirely submerged. Think of these as the lungs of your pool. Through underwater respiration, they pump pure oxygen directly into the water column. This is critical because it supports the aerobic bacteria in your gravel beds, the good microbes that break down organic waste before it can turn into sludge. Next are the nutrient sinks. These are emergent plants like canna lilies and reeds. While their flowers and leaves are above the surface, their work happens below. They possess aggressive, thirsty root systems designed to strip nitrogen and phosphorus, the primary food for algae, directly from the water. By the time the water passes through this root web, it is chemically lean. We aren't killing the algae, we are starving it. Finally, we have the surface protectors. Water lilies and lotus act as the light lock for our system. Algae needs two things to bloom: nutrients and UV energy. Our sinks took the nutrients, our lilies take the light. By shading up to 50 to 70% of the pond's surface, these plants lower the water temperature and block the solar energy that algae needs to photosynthesize. It is the final seal on our biological filter.
In a tropical environment, the sun is a constant thermal load. Without protection, your living pool can suffer from the hot tub effect, where water temperatures rise so high that oxygen levels drop and beneficial bacteria die off. To prevent this, we plant a cooling ring. Species like ferns and taro act as biological parasols. Their broad, dense foliage overhangs the water's edge, creating a deep shadow over the shallowest, most vulnerable parts of the pool. This thermal buffering ensures the water entering the filtration zone remains cool and oxygen-rich, even at high noon. The most common fear with natural water is mosquitoes. But in a balanced system, we don't need bug spray. We use a botanical shield. By integrating lavender, marigolds, and even citronella into the dryland perimeter, we create a natural deterrent zone. These plants release essential oils and volatile organic compounds that confuse the sensory organs of mosquitoes. To a pest, your pool doesn't smell like a breeding ground. It smells like a no-entry zone. While our plants repel the adults, our ecosystem handles the rest. The aromatic flowers of the botanical shield attract dragonflies, the apex predators of the insect world, who hunt mosquitoes in the air. Meanwhile, the clear, moving water in our regeneration zone supports small native fish that consume any larvae that manage to slip through. We aren't just building a pool, we are building an intelligent, self-defending fortress.
A living pool deserves a living frame. Rather than cold concrete, we use the earthen floor technique to construct a 1-foot wide pathway around the perimeter. This isn't just dirt, it is a highly engineered mix of clay, sand, and fiber, tamped into a stone-hard mass. This pathway serves as a clean zone, preventing loose soil from washing into our filtration beds, while providing a comfortable, non-slip surface for bare feet. To make the earth waterproof and durable, we finish it with multiple coats of drying oils and a final buffing of beeswax. This process, often called pissé or totalact finishing, turns the clay into a breathable yet water-repellent surface. The result is a polished, waxed walkway that feels organic underfoot, but stands up to the tropical humidity and the occasional splash from the pool. Accessibility should be seamless, not an afterthought. By building earthen steps directly into the structural arches of the pool surround, we create multiple side access points. Because these steps face constant moisture, we reinforce their core with a higher lime-to-clay ratio. This ensures that even the side access points, the most high-traffic areas of the system, remain structurally sound and beautiful for decades.
To create a true cathedral canopy, we utilize recursive arch engineering. By spacing our bamboo arches every 3 feet, we do more than just provide shade. We create a high-frequency structural rib cage. This tight spacing ensures that the weight of the coming vegetation is distributed evenly, preventing any single point of failure. As you walk or swim through this living vault, the rhythmic repetition of the bamboo creates a deep, shaded tunnel that naturally funnels the breeze, cooling the water surface through the Venturi effect. The greatest enemy of a bamboo structure is ground moisture. To ensure this vault stands for decades, we use the charred anchor technique. The base of every arch is fire-treated, a process of controlled carbonization that creates a glassy charcoal layer. This layer is naturally resistant to rot, fungi, and termites. These charred ends are then set into biocomposite ground sockets, a mix of lime, hemp, and local sand, elevating the organic material away from the damp earth while providing a rock-solid foundation. The bamboo is only the beginning. It is the scaffolding for the succession. We plant the jade vine, Strongylodon macrobotris, at the base of each arch. As the years pass, this vine doesn't just grow on the arch, it swallows it. The vine stems thicken into massive, self-supporting woody trunks that take over the structural load as the bamboo eventually degrades.
When you first fill your pool, the water is dead, chemically unstable, and prone to spikes. The Great Succession is the 30-day window where the water transitions into a living organism. During the first 2 weeks, you may see a bloom, a clouding of the water. Do not panic and do not add chlorine. This is the biological startup phase. As the oxygenators and nutrient sinks settle in, they will begin to outcompete the free-floating algae. By day 30, the water should achieve a gene-clear state, balanced by a microscopic army of beneficial bacteria. In a natural pool, you don't need expensive test strips to tell you if the water is healthy. You look for bioindicators. The arrival of dragonflies and frogs is the ultimate seal of approval. Frogs are sentinel species with highly permeable skin. They won't stay in water that contains toxins or heavy metals. Dragonflies are the apex predators of the pond. Their presence means the entire food web, down to the smallest microbes, is functioning. If they are thriving, your water is safe for you. There is a common myth that natural pools are zero maintenance. In reality, we are replacing chemical testing with seasonal trimming. Your maintenance is simply managing the biomass. When you prune a canna lily or harvest excess water hyacinth, you are physically removing the nitrogen and phosphorus the plants have inhaled from the water. This is how you prevent the system from becoming a swamp. 10 minutes of light gardening every 2 weeks replaces the lifelong subscription to the chemical industry.
Join the Forgotten Archive and comment what you like or want to see.